Today's organizations demand quality listening to avoid costly errors, reduce wasted time, surface ideas, gather information for solving problems, building trust, and to diffuse conflict. You know, the actor Marlon Brando quipped, "An actor is a guy who, if you ain't talking about him, he ain't listening." Well, even if you do take time to listen to others, there are some common listening mistakes. The first is reacting before I absorb. I may only half listen, just enough to get the gist of what you're saying before I jump into my own story and steal the focus. Or maybe I take a mental vacation thinking about other things, and you can't do two things at once if one of them is listening. Second mistake, faulty focusing skills. We don't fully focus on the person. The antidotes to that are to first focus the environment by setting aside what we're doing, turning and facing the other person, switching off the computer, putting the cap on my pen, and conveying that right now it's about you and me in conversation. I also need to focus my mind on the task of listening to you by making a conscious decision to listen. Maybe I image a traffic signal turning red for my speaking turn and green for my listening turn. Maybe I just hear the word listen. Next, with apologies to Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical, right? By focusing physically. I face you, I use my eye contact, a forward lean, appropriate facial reactions, and head nods. Now, you already know this body language of attentive listening, but common sense isn't always common practice. Next, we confuse real listening with merely hearing the other person, attentively being silent and not interrupting. Well, it takes more than that. Omitting paraphrasing is another key mistake in listening. So I want to show that I'm really listening instead of rushing to take my speaking turn. It's not enough to understand you. Can I prove to you that I understand by paraphrasing what you're saying in my own words? I'm going to show you that I've understood what you're communicating. The cost of faulty listening by not paraphrasing and not checking for my understanding, it's in the billions in corporate America and around the globe. How about the mistake of forgetting the feelings? Maybe I paraphrase, but to hit the bullseye of understanding, I need to show empathy for the emotions behind what you're saying. I need to convey that I get it. I get how you're feeling about what you're saying. That's pay dirt. Joanne, you really sound, obviously, really upset. You're really steamed at me. And you feel like I let you down. At least now Joanne feels heard. In To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus Finch says to his daughter, Scout, to really understand another man, you've got to get in his shoes and walk around in them for a day. The fifth common listening mistake is paraphrasing with the wrong feeling words, undershooting or overshooting the feelings. For anger, is it mild, medium, or hot sauce? Are they mildly ticked off, perturbed, bothered, or are they livid and outraged? You come to me, for instance, and you say, "I can't believe George. He came into my customer service unit again, coaching my people. Who does he think he is?" Well, if I paraphrase, you sound a little perturbed. That's going to break rapport because I'm undershooting your feeling. And I also don't want to overshoot your feeling. Rick, I'm trying to figure out which guy I should hire. Hey, Jamal has the necessary technical experience, but he's from another company and he doesn't really understand ours. Ahmad, of course, he's been here a while. He knows the politics and the people, but he isn't up to speed on the system. Now, I could paraphrase saying, "Wow, you are totally feeling immobilized. You're in the grips of real angst about this devastating decision you've got to make." And you're thinking, "Whoa, back off, Sigmund Freud." So I don't want to undershoot and I don't want to overshoot the feelings. The last common listening shortcoming is sounding unnatural and techniquey. It sounds like I've been to a listening course. I'm using those helpful lead-in listening phrases, but too much. Paraphrasing stems like, "Seems like you feel." In other words, you're saying, "You sound, they're all great. to keep us listening rather than prematurely reacting with our own frame of reference. Well, I think, well, my point of view, our way of doing things. So the listening lead-in phrases are like bicycle training wheels. When we were younger, we needed those crutches, like using the lead-in stems of listening when learning listening skills. But think of an adult riding around on a bicycle with training wheels, kind of awkward and stilted. The same is true with listening. I don't want to be using the same lead-in stems all the time and sounding techniquey and fake. Sounds like you're saying. Sounds like you're saying. Sounds like you're saying. Sounds like you're saying, and your speaker may pause and interrupt you and mock you saying, so what's it sound like I'm saying now? So mix it up. And avoid using too many of the lead-in phrases in one response. Sounds like you're saying if I'm hearing you right. In other words, it seems to you. Whoa, easy does it. Finally, to sound more natural, just drop the training wheels. Drop those lead-in listening stems. Just say the words that would come after you would use one of those lead-in phrases. How frustrating. So she totally ignored your input after asking for it. You're frosted on this one. Winston Churchill once said, "Courage means being willing to stand up and speak. It also means being willing to sit down and listen." Hopefully, avoiding these 6 common listening errors will help you to exercise courage with world-class listening.